Hello and welcome in this beautiful spring or summer day, wherever you are, to Connections Forum for relationships, expression, healing, and this is episode 66. And today's topic is, what does it need to develop your video presence online? And our special guest is Rayne Dowell. Say hi.
Well, hi. Thank you so much for having me, Adelaide, Heidi, and Margarita. I really appreciate it, and it's just a real pleasure to be here with you today.
And we appreciate very much that you got up so early in your morning. Thank you.
So our show offers single episodes and short series of talks and interviews regarding the most urgent issues in relationship issues, personal expression, self-development, and cultural development, as well as healing of these areas. The purpose of our shows is to give you inspiration and also teach you new skills with which to handle the issues which are connected with our area of interest. Be sure to make comments and ask questions during this show. I am Margarita Cristal Lotus, an intuitive life and business mentor helping women in professional life to cope with stress and overwhelm so they can be more abundant, fulfilled, and spiritually aligned. I was born in Sweden, but for the last 20 years I live in Kingston, Ontario, that's Canada, where I have a healing retreat called Enchantment. And here I work in person with my clients in private personal development retreats. And now over to you, Heidi.
Yeah, hello, I'm Heidi, or Adelheid, and I'm in wonderful Italy. We have a summer day. It's really wonderful. And we have a retreat here and a guest house, so come over and enjoy this wonderful country. As a profession, I was at least a classical singer, then a voice teacher, voice therapist, and then I became a counselor and a coach in relationship issues. And that's where I really like to work in and to bring people into better relationships with themselves and with other people, especially with their partners. Yeah, and today I think, I've forgotten, I'm also retreat host. HOA host, Hangout host, as you see here with Margaret, and also the Wisdom Factory, where yesterday we began our first episode of the new season, and it was really great. We began with live music, and you really should go and see it. It's enough. Now we go over to Rayne Dowell. It's a long time that I wanted to have her on the show, and now finally we got that. And Rayne is, as you know, very, very, very literate in what is Google and what is all these Hangout show stuff and so on. And she has created her presence online in a quite a visible way. And today she wants to talk about it and how you can create your presence online too. And I read a little bit what she says about herself. She says her passion is to bring the best qualities of the personality and person representing their business to the forefront. To use her skills to teach and coach business professionals how to use video to engage with others, learn from them, grow with them, create their own marketing material using creativity, and have fun doing it. And you can learn more about her in expertvideocoaching.com. Rayne, would you like to add something to that?
Well, thank you for that lovely introduction. I appreciate that. I would have to say it's been an amazing journey, because I knew a solution needed to come around in terms of for video for business people, because this is such a different medium and people aren't used to seeing themselves on video. They're not used to communicating using video, and there are so many different ways to go about using video. The vlogging, there's live video streaming, which is starting to come to the fore now. There are just so many different ways that we can utilize this tool that I thought this really needs, so much information can be provided to somebody via video that there needs to be a way to set this up, because there's not just the technology parts of it. Technology parts of it, to me, is half of the equation. The other half is the person and how they come across, and their energy, and what they want to say, and their own creativity, their own unique expression. And that can only come about when they feel comfortable. Because if a person doesn't feel comfortable, that's not going to come across on video. So I sort of saw it as two components. And then there's the business side of it, as well. What do they know what their call to action is? Are they, what types of messages do they want to bring to the fore? And the different ways they have available to them, and depending on their personality, what will fit for them, what will feel natural, what will work for them, where they'll be happy and they can look back at it later, because as soon as you make a video, it's dated, it's done, it's old after that, really. So to continue doing it, it's a habit, and it's something, it's a skill, and it's something you need to get into. So I thought, there needs to be some way to figure this out, some type of solution and some way to figure this out where you can provide that to business people so that they can learn it in a set way, the technology pieces of it, but then also have somewhere, because for myself, I had to do it publicly because there was no choice. If I could have done it privately, I would most definitely have done it privately. But there was no other way.
Rayne, before we ask you the question, how did you come to that, to build your presence, and you are really quite visible, I would say, I would like to acknowledge the people who have shown up here. There is Tim Longwell, there is Richard Clarkson, there is Andrew Hatchett, and who else is here? I saw some more people. Lucy Papapostolosova. And Marcus Tiedele said he would come, and Phil Astons, and Barbara Quick, and Zuzu, and Kerry Roldan, and Miss Delin, and so many people, and we are really happy that they show up, because I think this is a topic which is interesting to all of us. And there are still people who are sort of afraid to show up in the camera, behind the camera, and get visible. So I wonder, was it always for you easy to be seen?
No. No. I actually knew once I found Google Hangouts, because I knew this would be the hardest thing to do. A live video is the absolute hardest. It's harder than pre-recorded. It's as difficult as it gets for video. So I knew that this was going to have to be something that I had to delve into. There was just no other choice. If I was to be able to figure out a solution and find ways to provide a way for other business professionals, I would have to go through it myself. So no, I knew for 2 months that I was going to have to do this, and I just I couldn't. Every day I was like, you have to do this, and every day I was like, no, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. But after 2 months, I sat down one day and thought, it's not about you, because I was letting my I suppose, I'm not sure if fear comes into it. It could, because there's a whole host of things that come along with an online video presence that you don't realize when you're first delving into it. And I'll be blogging about it and producing videos about that and stuff too, and helpful tips and things to do, because that's one of the things. I have a lot of empathy for people that don't want to jump into it, because I really understand that. I really, really understand that. I myself prefer to sit back and gather as much information as I possibly can before moving forward. And it was only when I realized that what I wanted to offer to people wasn't available. I couldn't do it. I couldn't practice privately. I couldn't get the feedback I needed. I couldn't, you know, these were things that I couldn't. That's why I had to go about it in a public way, because it wasn't available. So there are many stages to that growth, you know, of an online presence, and hopefully you never stop growing. Hopefully it's like life, and it expresses who you are as a human being and your own ability to grow and move forward and you know, and make connections and learn, because that's the beauty of it. That's really the beauty of it. And everybody is so unique that to be able to share that and is just, I think it's just a really great gift. Yeah.
Can you outline a little bit the stages you yourself went through, and which you see that more or less everybody has to go through?
Yeah, at first, excuse me. At first, it's the technology. A lot of people struggle with the technology because there's different buttons to push, and depending on if you are just a guest, if you're a guest, there's a minimum amount, and then we're strictly speaking for YouTube live streaming events or Google Hangouts on air. There's minimal. There's sort of a, you know, there's a checklist of what you can provide the person with. So there's that technology piece to it, and then when because there's so many different pieces to it, it's getting comfortable with the technology, and once you're comfortable with the technology, and that comes in stages, then you become more confident. You know, being comfortable with the technology, you become more confident. Then you can start focusing on how you appear online, how you are coming across online. And that is a phase in itself, because you're sitting back and you're having to watch yourself objectively, you know, because you have to do it in a kind way, you know, because we're all so unique and different, but you also have to do it objectively and look at it and go, okay, you know, was I looking at the camera most of the time? Or you know, how was my lighting? You know, how was this? How was that? So you have to try to look at the different pieces that you think would help improve your journey and moving forward and how you're presenting for your online video presence. So there's many different, excuse me, I'd say like mini stages to this as you go through, and you become more and more confident and more at ease, because that's the point you want to come to, is that you feel comfortable and you're completely at ease with it. And it's really just another form of communication. It's like being in the same room with somebody and having a chat with them. Exactly. And that's the point you want to come to.
Exactly, and that's what the great actors do. You know, they can be so free in front of the camera that you think it's real life. It's not, but it is.
Yeah.
I think to me it has helped a little bit my presence on the stage as a singer. You know, with all the. But I mean, it's a little bit like here. You don't see the audience.
No,
but here we see at least each other. We are talking to each other, and we are not alone in the sense when you're on the stage and have just your part, you are alone and an unknown audience. But I wanted to say and agree, it is possible to learn that. And what I want to stress, what you said, we need to be kind with ourselves, and not like we Germans often are, oh, this was bad, and this was bad, and this was bad, and this was bad, and we don't leave anything good around it, and then at the end, oops, completely depressed.
Well, I can relate to that, because the first time I was on a live camera, I got so scared. I was cringing inside. That was 1.5 years ago, not long ago. And I had a pre-recorded session that I could put out. So I just turned it off and asked my web guy to put the video on because I couldn't handle it.
Well, the thing is we're, we're regular people. We're regular people. We're not, we didn't, we're not in Hollywood. We're not producing movies. We're not doing these kinds of things. So for us, it's a very different experience. It's a very, very different experience. And, especially, business people, they're not actors. They're not, nor should they need to be. They should be able to bring their own unique presence to their online video journey, and for that to be just a video expression of who they are, in their best sense moving forward. So yeah, I think it's a very different, and I didn't realize how different it was going to be, how different of an experience it was going to be. And there have been so many amazing people that I've met and that I would love to thank. There's Ronnie Benser's Hangout Mastery Group. He was absolutely phenomenal. He gave me opportunity to comment track on one of his shows. I've met some just really amazing people along this journey that they might not have known as much technology as I did, and so asked me, and it was really, they were really blessing me and giving me an opportunity to learn more and to hone my skills more. So just lovely Mia asked me to comment track on a couple of her shows and co-produce, and Lynn Sanders, some of her shows, and Elaine Nieberding, Robin Holland. There are so many people that have really been amazing people and have given me the opportunities to learn. And Melanie Hall and Sheila Strover on the Lights Camera HOA show. If Melanie hadn't have given me that opportunity to co-host the show, I wouldn't have gotten near as the practice and the experience that I've gained along the way. So I have a lot of people to thank.
So you sort of did a private university in these years. What would you say to people who still are shy and prefer to watch Hangouts instead of coming in, or even produce their own show? What would you say to them?
I totally understand, and what I would recommend, because it is a big bite. It is a very big bite to chew off, and you don't have to chew it off in one big chunk. You can go about it in small steps. So start off with video calls. Just do a video call. There doesn't have to be any recording at first. Just start off with a video and sit in a video call with yourself and use the Google effects and put hats on yourself and play noises and just have fun. Just have fun. Just play around and have fun and get comfortable with the interface. And then if you can have somebody join you in a video call, and you can just start chatting and just start getting, and if you go down into the lower right hand corner, you'll see a thumbnail of yourself. Even in a video call, you can click on it and it will outline in white and you'll be big on the screen. You'll take up the full screen. And while you're chatting with yourself, you can pin yourself in the screen and look at the camera, practice looking at the camera. You'll know your friend is there. You know you're talking with your friend, but practice looking in the camera. And just do that for a little while. And then you can then move into whatever your passion is, whatever you're interested in. If it's glass blowing or dog training or whatever, wherever your passion lies, then you can start getting into actually having hangouts about them if you want, and sharing information about them, whether it's just with you sharing information. You can also use your phone. You can use your your Android or your iPhone, and you can just privately record yourself every day for 2 minutes. When you wake up in the morning, think of, 3 things you're really thankful for, and just be super animated when you record for that 2 minutes first thing in the morning about those 3 things you're really thankful for. And then you can hit record, and it's private, nobody's seen it, and do that for 3 weeks every morning, every single morning. Do it for 3 weeks, and then after the fact, look back and share it with close friends or family or anyone. And so this was the first one I did, and then going forward, and they'll be short. They're only 2 minutes long. It's not going to take a lot of time, and you'll see even in those 3 weeks how you've progressed, because you're starting to get comfortable with the medium, and then you can start delving in a little more.
And why should we do that? Why would you recommend that many of us, if not all, should do that?
Well, I recommend it because video is the most media-rich form of communication you can provide. It outranks text. It outranks audio. It provides the most information. That's why we have Hollywood. It provides the most information. It's just a very, very good mode of communication, and I really feel that it's integral and it's necessary, not just to have it, but to try and have it at a level where when you're starting off, you're providing the right message. Because if you're uncomfortable with video, and you go ahead and put something on your website, or you go ahead and put something somewhere, people can see it, they can feel it, and people want to see, they want to see you happy, and and they want to see a good expression of you. And so if you feel uncomfortable on video, they're actually in pain with you. They're actually, oh my goodness, they don't seem very comfortable on video. So it's and that's why, is to provide that added information. But it's like a resume. It's like a live resume. So, and a lot of people are using it like that too.
Yeah, what is also very important, this is a way really to grow up and become visible. And become visible, if you are comfortable with becoming visible, that means that in some way you have accepted yourself. Yeah. Because what else is there hiding behind slides? And maybe only let your voice hear. Excuse me. I don't like these webinars anymore, when people only talk and then there's one slide in animated thing after the other. I want to see the people who talk, because I want to see if they mean it, what they say. If somebody is, talking animated but sitting like this behind the camera, I can see the incongruences, and I wouldn't trust that so much. And I came so far that I don't like anymore to hear podcasts, because they seem so... I have started with podcasts too, and for me in this moment it was comfortable not to be seen, because I first had to get comfortable with talking, without stopping and not knowing anymore what I could say at the next moment. But this is the next step then, to just talk like I do now. And I'm not ashamed anymore to say, even if I say, what do we say? If you talk shit. Honestly, it is. I think we are not stupid people. Nobody is stupid, and everybody has a message to say. And even if sometimes it comes over a little bit awkward, and we, for instance, we are not really good in English, that sometimes people don't understand, or that's what it is. But it's nothing to be ashamed of. So
no, and that is part of the beauty, actually, of it. is that an accent is a reflection of where you live. You know, who doesn't want to go to Italy? You know, and an accent is a combination of where a person grew up. So it's part of them. It's a unique part of who they are, and that's a beautiful thing. That makes up who you are. So I think it's you know, there's accents and then there's accents. If you know, it all depends on who your audience is too. If your audience is English speaking and your English is about 10%, that's probably not going to work out very well because, you know, they won't understand you. But if your English is fairly good and the majority of English speakers that you communicate with completely understand you, that's how most English people I have found accents, is they find them endearing. You know, they love them because they're unique. They're unique and they're different, and it's just another piece of expression of the individual. So accents are nothing to absolutely nothing to shy away from if you have an accent to be on video, because that to me adds a richness to the experience for the viewers. So it's yeah, it's definitely something that I wouldn't let hold me back. No.
Good, and we didn't hold back together, Margareta and me, when we began the show, just to try out, just to see how it works. After people said, "Don't never go on Google Hangouts, never, never."
Can I come in here and I want to comment back on that? You know, you working with your iPhone or Android. I did that for 3 weeks, and I committed to 2 friends, and we had a sort of a mastermind, and every day I was going to send them a YouTube video that I recorded. It was so funny, and I did it in different, you know, in the backyard, in the bathroom, when the shower was on. No nudity though. Yeah. But and then when I was cleaning the house, and I had a towel around my head, and I said, I'm very frustrated having to clean this house, whatever. So any kind of situation that I make myself sort of funny, it was amazing because it actually cleared the fears of being public or being punished or being, oh, that's bad. Okay, that little voice saying that inside. And yeah, so anyone on the call who is afraid of being live, I suggest the self-recorded, and then don't edit anything. Just record it and then post it privately on your YouTube, and then you can share it with yourself only. So you're in control there, like you say.
Yes. I completely agree. And you know, that's something that it's really easy to do. It's really, really easy to do, and it doesn't take a lot of time, and you can have a lot of fun with it. And I think that's, you know, part of how the majority of how we're raised is to look externally, to look outside at the world. And so it's a very different experience when you're getting comfortable with video, because then you have to go internally, you know. And like Margarita says, you just made it fun. You just made it fun with all these different pieces and places that you would choose to do a video. And that's absolutely wonderful because you played with it. And that's and coming to a relationship with video with an attitude of fun. You know, you're playing and it's fun. That is probably the most important piece of information. And I know it's not going to, it's not going to completely drown out, a person who's just beginning their fears and, what do they look like and all that kind of stuff. But if you can keep that thought first and foremost in your mind about having fun and just using it as a fun medium, then I think you can keep that first and foremost as you go along your journey. Then you will have fun with it. And if you're having fun, that's really key, really, really key.
And I think as soon as you have fun, then you are also ready to learn what it needs.
Yes. Yeah. Because you've already come into it in a sense that I'm not perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. Where whatever point I'm starting at this is a journey, and I'm going to be learning more along this journey as I go. So I'm not going to be 100% great at this right off the bat. Nobody is. Absolutely nobody is. There are, the top paid actors and actresses. This is live video. It's, they have takes. So.
I would like to bring up the comment here by Dana. She says, I think that in a way being on video is perfect for introverts and people that are shy, because you get to still be visible without having to step on stage or see your audience watching you. Well said.
That's an interesting comment. It is a way to be visible. Introverts will have a much more difficult time getting started, though, because just the thought of doing it, you're still going to deal, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert or an ambivert, you're still going to deal with, if it's a public video, you're still going to deal with people's opinions about it. So either way, you have to take that step out and know that this is public, and that's fine. You're fine with it. It's okay. But I absolutely agree. It's a different journey for introverts and extroverts, and of course the ambiverts. Their communication styles are different, and neither one is good, neither one is bad. They both have pros and they both have cons. And those are some of the things that I've noticed along my journey of how different personality, and it's not, because I really believe everybody is solely unique, but there are sort of common groupings of how people go about things and how they, I've noticed how they go about their journey, and things that can be helpful to know as you're going forward with it. And it's, there are big differences between introverts and extroverts and ambiverts. And there is one thing for introverts when they're doing video. I find introverts when they're doing video, they come across as authentic. They come across as authentic, and that's because they are. And I find extroverts can sometimes struggle with that. They can struggle at times with that. And it's not because they're not. It's just a part of the personality. Like I say, there's pros and cons to both. So it really depends on the person. And that's why I took the stand of getting into the coaching piece of it, knowing that that was an integral part to it, because everybody is so unique and everybody is so different. And having someone that's, kind of been there and been watching different things and can kind of guide you along the way, give you the feedback, and help you get to the point where it's private at first, but when you're ready and you feel ready and you go public, you're starting off at a good place when you go public. You're not starting off staring at the camera going, oh my goodness, oh no.
Can I ask a question here? And that is, the first fear I actually had was, what shall I say? So I put the camera on and then blank. So what do I say here? Because I couldn't read a script. I never could have read a script. And then I did the key card, like the cue cards, but that was just a little bit help. But what would you suggest, Rayne, about that?
Well, I mean, it really depends. To me, you have to understand what you want to do with your video. What is the first and foremost? What's the primary purpose of your video? Is this a hobby? Is this just a hobby and something you want to do? Is this for your business and you want to provide content, video content on your website so that people can learn more about you? Is this, is this just, just somebody's asking you to be a guest on a YouTube live streaming event or a Google Hangouts on air, and you don't know anything about it, and you just want to know the very basics, and you're probably not going to do it again for a while if you do it again. So it really depends on the whole purpose behind why you're doing it. And then that then determines how you go. Like I say, some people vlog. I had a guest on his show yesterday, and he had never been on a live Hangouts on air video. He had vlogged. He had pre-produced his videos. Great videos. Great, really good tips he has on his videos. So it, first and foremost, to know why you're providing content and in what context. Is it pre-produced? Is it live streaming? What is the purpose behind it? And then that will then shape how you move forward in your journey. And maybe you're going to start off with video logging at first. Maybe that's what you've decided. No, I just want to do video logging. And then after you get comfortable video logging after a year or so, then maybe you'll want to YouTube live streaming. You can live stream YouTube events privately. So say you have 50 or 100 or however many clients that want some answers on something, and you have a product or service they're looking for answers to, you could host a private live YouTube live streaming event. Answer all their questions. As they have questions that come up on the stream, there's really no better way to communicate. It's live. You're getting their you're getting their feedback right then and there. So there's really no waiting. And it can be done privately. It doesn't have to be, you can do public, but you can also do private as well. So there's many different ways, different uses for it, I suppose. Oh, hi, Richard.
Yeah, I wanted to, as you are talking about video logging, he was writing about that in this comment. Let's see now, 2-minute recorded videos every day. I would think that would be video logging. I'll have to consider that something to think about. And then there was Vivek. Let me see to get that on too. He says,
hi, Vivek.
Yeah, here's a secret. You can actively perform a well-scripted video by reading a script while still making eye contact with a webcam in a Hangout. Only Hangout technology allows you to do that. You need to make sure that the script is shown just right below the webcam. I personally find it always a little bit tricky because I watched my own videos at the beginning. I was reading the introductions and I saw still the eyes walking along, and the voice is a little bit different unless you have really studied to read in a live way. So I think it is a difference between, how do you say, ad hoc speaking or reading a script, unless you are really a professionalist. What do you say?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if your intro for the person is, a minute or 2 minutes long, really and truly, the person you're introducing is not expecting you to have that information memorized, nor is anybody in the audience going to, memorize that information either. And it's, there's a level of perfection that I think, most people aren't there yet, and neither does it need to be there yet. The most important information is coming from you, your attitude, how you feel about it, and how you're coming across. That is the most important information. And then what you're saying is also important. But, if you have 1 or 2 words wrong, or, like in a live streaming event, I mean, there's just, nobody's going to fault you for that. Nobody's going to fault you for that. So, because people realize, this is, it's live streaming. Even the best of the best would have wouldn't be able to do it. So we don't need, there's no standard we need to hold us to.
Unless you are a TV showmaster, you have done it for 20 years, and then you just. You know?
Yeah.
There's another comment from Richard, and he says he's seriously thinking about it. Here it is. And you know what, Richard? I think that would be the case of create a little private mini challenge to find 3 or 4 or 5 people and say every day we do that and we exchange it between each other. This would be a great fun, I think.
Yes. Yes. I think that's absolutely wonderful, Margarita, that the challenge that you were talking about that you and your friends did, I think that's absolutely wonderful.
I'm even thinking of now, because it's hilarious, but it's very revealing. I was even singing in one of them. So I was thinking actually to post them publicly eventually. So probably I'm ready to do that, but it's like, you know, the video I did in the shower with the water right there and cut here, right? And
no, I think that's absolutely fantastic. I think that's a wonderful way. And or if you play a musical instrument.
Yeah, I did the piano too, and I was singing, right? I don't do that very well, right? But
but I mean, if that's something that you love doing, and it's, you know, or others have told you, yeah, you know, I love it when you play the piano, or I love it when you know, play the guitar or different things like that. If you're a little bit antsy about doing video, start with doing something that you're really comfortable doing, that takes you out of yourself, so you're not focused on being in front of being recorded on video and being nervous about it. Start doing it with something that you're playing music, and it's something that you're sharing a gift you have, and you're enjoying yourself while you're doing it. And that's another way to get comfortable doing it as well, because it's you know, you'll enjoy doing it, and others will enjoy it as well.
Rayne, I think we are going towards the end of our show. I know you have created a company exactly for that, to help people to come out of this shyness, invisibility. Would you like to talk just a minute about that and how people can reach you? Mm-hmm.
I sure would. That would be great. And it's not completely done yet. It's going to be in the next few days here. But I've got a website at www.expertvideocoaching.com. It's brand new, so I've got a couple of blog posts on it. But there is a way to contact me there. And what I do is offer a private place for people to practice, as well as training content. And the training content is based on, like I say, it's based on what your needs are. It's based on what that business professional wants, whether they want to start off with vlogging, whether they want to, you know, perhaps they just want to once a month offer their clients a YouTube live streaming private event. It just depends. Or whether they want to start hosting their own show, and they want to learn how to do it, and they, you know, but they also want to become comfortable on the camera, because a lot of people deal with clients and they're quite fine, and they're quite fine public speaking. I have found people that are comfortable public speaking, they're completely out of their realm when they get on video though, and it's because it is so different. And I think it's because it's recorded. You know, if you're good at public speaking, that's great, because once you're up and then you're done and you go, then that's it, you know. But with the added posterity of it being recorded, it just adds another dimension, you know, with the lighting, with your sound, you know, these different things that you need to take into, you know, you have to take into account. That, yeah, there's just, depending on what the person is requiring, that's where I can be reached. So
wonderful. So thank you very much for having been here with us and share that with us. And Margarita, I would like to ask you, what is your takeaway today?
Oh, the takeaway is so amazing, because I got to reconnect with that early beginnings of that fear I had, And Rayne, you were wonderful, because I think that you see in a person what they need. And when you spoke here all through this session, I feel she's speaking to me. And this is so wonderful. That's why I butted in so many times, and because I wanted to share it, I was just hopping here, right? And so the takeaway here is that I think that you really know what you're doing, and if anyone who wants video guidance and coaching should really seriously contact you.
Oh, thank you, Marguerite. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and your takeaway for today, Rayne?
Well, it's actually been, I really, really, really love Margarita's tip about doing that with friends. I think that's really, really good. And it's fun and it's funny. And doing it privately, I absolutely love that as an added tool to do. I've been thinking, just do it yourself and watch yourself and, gauge your own. But I think that's a really great way to add fun into the equation, Margarita.
Maybe I'm going to post one of my videos there. I will see how I feel under the event there. So we can see if I dare to do it.
Yeah. And my takeaway, adding to this, is exactly that, because as a good German, I would be very critical with myself when I see it only myself. But if there's some other person and says, oh, this is fun, or something like this, I can change the perspective, and it would be much easier for people who are very self-critical to enter into it and see it from a different perspective, from the perspective of another person. And so it's much easier to develop, because the other way, it's very likely that you...
Yes.
Good.
We're the hardest on ourselves. We're the hardest on ourselves.
Yeah.
And that really comes to the fore with video too. Yeah.
And we need, actually, for growing and for becoming more happy in life, I think this is the first thing we really need to learn. Doesn't mean that we are not critical of ourselves anymore in the way that we just, indulge in everything. But as we Germans have learned to do, and probably also the Swedish people, I guess, it is just too much. We are strangling ourselves, hanging up. You see. So I think it's a very, very good way in self-development and becoming kinder to oneself, and to do it with friends. Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so we are at the end of this session. We thank you very much, Rayne. It was such a pleasure to have you here, and we will see. Maybe in half a year you come back and tell us how it's going on with your clients, how they grow and how they become confident, and maybe you bring one of them to show their expertise. Would be very nice. And next week at the same time we will meet again, and I don't know exactly what the topic is. Margarita, do you know?
I know in my mind, but it's going to be revealed perhaps tomorrow.
Okay, because we should say that we are taking turns in inviting people. So I don't know what next week is, because it's Marguerite's turn.
Yes.
Okay, so see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.